Hi, I'm James McGuire, and on today's eSpeaks, we're talking about topics in data science, including what it means to take a code-first approach to data science. To discuss that, I'm joined by Jack Parmer, Product Strategy Advisor at Domino Data Labs. Jack, very good to have you with us today.
Hey, James. Great to be with you. Thanks for having me.
So there's a lot going on with data science these days, a very busy sector. What does it mean to take a code-first approach to data science? And what's the difference between taking a code-first approach and a low-code approach? Is there any relationship there?
Yeah, it's a bit of a spectrum. So code first means that you're doing your analysis directly in code. And that's, these days, that means you're probably coding in MATLAB, Python, R, SAS. Those are some of the most popular code-first data science languages. So you can think of it as being closer to the metal. You have almost unlimited creativity in your analysis by writing it out in code. So it can be, besides being flexible, it can be very creative, or it can feel very creative doing analysis this way. And then low code usually combines that coding with some graphical user interface elements, which sort of assist the user to organize their programs or create an analysis and save some amount of coding for the user. So at Domino, we've always favored a code-first approach because the data scientists at the companies that use the platform, Fortune 500 companies, they tend to be fairly sophisticated, kind of grad student, PhD level, and have been doing analysis code first for a long time. So it's only after the company's existed a decade or so that we're trying to welcome more people into the Domino tent with low code.
Mm-hmm. Let's switch over to artificial intelligence and machine learning. I think it's a very big topic these days, of course. And so what are the most common obstacles that the data scientists encounter as they use AI and ML tools? And how do you recommend they address these issues?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest ones that I see is knowing that the results are true. So I think with AI, there can be some sort of element of mystique almost, where you put something into the AI and then you get something out, and even if it looks true, sort of validating and verifying that it really is, the result really does have a basis in reality. I think that there's a lot more kind of black box magic with AI that data scientists can spend a lot of time kind of verifying and validating. I think the code first approach really helps with that because code first is it's a glass box. It's the opposite of a black box. You can see exactly how the logic's happening, and it's very easy for someone else to reproduce because all they need is the same code.
So if you talk about how you recommend that they address these issues, is it can be addressed using code, or what is your fix in your view?
Yeah, I'm a strong code first proponent. I really enjoy. I started in MATLAB, when I was at Stanford, and then I switched over to Python, and I really enjoy both of those languages for analysis. I think they enable a lot of creativity, and I think that if you're sort of code curious and you want to switch from a low code or no code analysis and start to try out code first, Python language is a great place to start, and Domino, of course, is a really great platform to run Python analysis.
I think I like the phrase "code curious." I think it's like a lot of people out there that are indeed code curious. Let's drill down to the Domino Data Labs offering. So what is the Domino advantage in the data sector in your view? What makes a difference?
Yeah, I think there are tons of advantages. when Nick and I started our companies at about the same time, about 10 years ago. I was running Thoughtly and he was running Domino, and we just kind of kept in touch as our companies grew. And I've really admired kind of what Domino has done. I think they've done more than any company to bring code first data science into kind of America's Fortune 500. I think they've got a lot of advantages that, some of the big ones, they rely on open source standards. So these are the tools that data scientists mostly already know. They're either trained on them in grad school or later in industry. And instead of trying to reinvent something new, Domino made these open source standards just really first class and fast and accessible and easy to use on their enterprise platform. And I think that was just a really great approach, and our customers appreciate that because they're sort of bringing in tools that their data scientists want to use and know how to use, but maybe weren't necessarily well suited for the enterprise environment. Domino makes that possible.
What might be an example of one of those tools that got introduced?
Yeah, I think a big one of our most popular tools on the Domino platform is Jupyter Notebooks. This is a really popular analysis environment for Python. Another is RStudio, popular analysis environment for R. Distributed computing, so being able to do kind of supercomputing operations on the cloud, and making that easy for a data scientist in the enterprise environment. Those are some of kind of many services that Domino's made easy and accessible on their platform.
Interesting. Well, I think that the big question that a lot of companies are thinking about is the future of code first and or low code. I mean, they're big ideas and a lot of interest and a lot of investment going into these areas. I mean, what do you see in the years ahead in terms of when you look in your crystal ball?
Yeah, I think for data science in particular, there's sort of a nice renaissance going on that Domino in part is leading, to combine the code first approach with some graphical user interface accelerators, so that the end result is still code first, it's still readable, there's no kind of black box magic, it's reproducible in its own code, but there are some sort of GUI accelerators that help the data scientists get there and skip some of the boring stuff, like connecting to databases, a lot of boilerplate involved to get this data and do the analysis. So speeding some of that up. I think we'll see more and more kind of low code accelerators that ultimately lead to a code first approach and a code first result.
I think it's a really interesting idea. I had not heard of the GUI accelerator. Is that hardware? Tell me how that works, if you would.
Yeah, sure. It's entirely software, and the idea of it is it always produces and runs readable code, but there's essentially a wizard that you can click through and will output this block of code for you. So, if you're code curious and you're just starting your, Python or R journey, this kind of point and click interface is like a really powerful learning tool to kind of master the basics and have an assist with you. And then if you're an advanced data scientist, we found it can be really useful too, just to speed up the parts of the analysis that aren't the core kind of statistical analysis work. They're more connecting to databases, boilerplate, things like that.
Sounds interesting. Jack, I think you said it. I think it's an area that's going to see a lot of interest in the years ahead. Thanks so much for sharing your insight today.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.